All right, now that we're a little bit warmed up and we're really good at counting, we're going to learn something new today. What does this look like to anybody? Chris? A ladder? That's right, it does look like a ladder. This is actually called a 5-frame. I like to think of it almost like a window frame. Inside of this frame, we have 5 windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like our classroom windows are in sections and we can put different things on the window sills, you can almost think of the 5-frame the same way. I can put 5 things inside this frame, right? So let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now the number 5 means that we have an amount of 5 things inside of our 5-frame. Those things are called ones. A single unit in a set is a 1. So we have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And those 5 ones equal 5. Okay? So a 5-frame means that you always have 5 of something if it's all filled up. Now what if it's not all filled up? Then we might need to count, but pretty soon we'll start to recognize that if we have everything but 1, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me show you something. I'm going to put 4 apples. Now we have 4 apples in our 5-frame, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move this apple. The sun's too bright in that window, and I'm going to put it over here on that windowsill. How many apples do we have? Sarah? That's right, we still have 4. How did you know that? That's right, we still have 4. We didn't take any away. The amount is the same. No matter how it looks, the amount is the same. How many do we have now? Ken? 5, right. How did you know that so quick? I didn't hear you counting. Because we filled the frame, right? Very good. So when we fill the 5-frame, we have the amount of 5. All right, very good. I'm going to take these apples back down. You guys got that so quick. We're going to move to what's called a 10-frame. While I'm taking this down, you guys get out your math journals. Okay, here's our 10-frame. Now the number 10, which is right here, is 10 ones of something, right? So it can be 10 jelly beans. If you have 10, your amount is 10. Now you'll notice that this frame looks very similar to the 5-frame. It's actually 2 5-frames put together. So they're alike, but they're different, right? Because the 10-frame is 2 of the 5s. Who can tell me if we had all of these frame windows filled, how many would we have? Pam. 10, right. So let's do that. I'm going to put 10 apples in our frame here. Okay, let's count these together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 apples. Very good. Now, I'm going to take away some apples. Now, who could tell me how many apples we have now? George? 7. Very good. How did you get to that so quick? We had 5, 6, 7. Right, so George said he just knew we had 5 plus 2 more. So instead of starting and counting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he actually knew we had 5 and started at 6. 5, 6, 7. Very good. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a problem, and I want you guys to help me with it, okay? So, Valerie has 11 apples. So we're going to fill our 10 frame and give her 1 more. How could you use this counter to show me how her friend Rachel, who has 12 apples, how can we illustrate that up here? Anybody? Craig. Right, I could put 1 more apple right next to it. So instead of having to recount again, we know we have 10 plus 2 extra. All right, so I'm going to remove 1. How can I tell by looking at this quickly how many apples I have? Lori. 11. Now how did you come up with that answer? Very good. For those that couldn't hear about, Lori said that she saw we had 10 plus 1 and she knew we had 11. So again, instead of having to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Lori was able to look, see 10, and add 1. 11. Very good. Okay, now that you have your math journals out, I want everybody to open up to a blank page. And we're going to start really concentrating on the numbers that are bigger than 10. So today, I'm going to have you write the number 11 in your math journal. The number 11 is the number 1 with the number 1. 11. Yes, you can use any color marker you want. Okay, who can tell me how many apples I have on the board now? Darlene. 13. Wow, you got to that fast. How did you know we had 13? Right. Our frame was filled, our 10 frame, plus 11, 12, 13. Very good. All right. Now, an amount stays the same even when you move stuff around, right? So now how many apples do I have up on my board? Pete. Right, I have 11 apples. So now what we're going to do in our math journal is I want you to write a 10 frame. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Draw one big long window or a rectangle. And then we're going to put a line through the center. And then we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 more lines in it. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have to be even. Just draw your 10 frame. And because we wrote the number 11, I'm going to have you go ahead and put stars in your new 10 frame in your journal so that it looks like 11. And when you're done, you should have something very similar to that. Now you can put your 11 anywhere, huh? Because it doesn't matter where it is, it's still going to be 11. The point of this is to help you really start to quickly see how many things you have in front of you. How many ones are in front of you, okay? So to help you with this a little bit further, I'm going to pass out this count and match worksheet, okay? Now, I set it up for you so that there's numbers over on the left side, and the dots represent our 10 frames. So if you have 10, you want to find the number of dots that equal 10. But what does this right here look like, Janine? It does. It looks very similar to our 10 frame. So we know we have 10 dots here. We really only need to count these dots over here to see if it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So everybody's going to get one of these. Take your time and work on them alone, okay? Don't help your neighbor on this one. When you turn this in, I will give you a bag of beans and 2 number tubes. Everybody's going to get different number tubes, okay? But everybody has the same amount of beans, so don't worry about that. When you get back to your desk with your number tubes, you're going to see what numbers you have, and you're going to count your beans and put them in there, okay? So I have 15 and 13. So I need to put 15 of my beans in this one, and 13 of my beans in this one, okay? And that's going to help us really start recognizing that a number equals an amount. When you're done and you have them in there, then I want you to raise your hand, and Miss Stephanie's going to come over. She's going to help you count them and make sure that you're right. Okay, and if you have time, you can trade with somebody at your table so you can get a different set of number tubes and do it again. And the beans are yours to keep, okay? All right, guys, thank you very much. Now I'm going to pass out these worksheets, and if you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll come over. Okay.